Hey folks, welcome back to the Cotswold Collectibles YouTube channel. I'm Greg Brown, president of Cotswold Collectibles. This go around, we're going to do a little bit something different than what we've been doing in previous weeks. We're actually going to be exploring the world of World Peacekeepers from M&C Toy Center. A lot of you are familiar with the M&C Toy Center brand that we've been carrying, but our special guest today, Chuck Chiriaco, he knows a lot about the stuff that came in before. My experience with them was probably the mid to late 90s. I was working through a friend, Rudy Panucci, and we came across Hunter Man and Astronaut Man, and I forget who the other one was. Very rudimentary figures, but that company has evolved by leaps and bounds. So we're going to be talking a little about the history of the line in the next few videos. And this week we're going to be talking about the bodies in particular, but I will let Chuck go into the dirty details of the bodies. So take it away, Chuck.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show, Greg. So first off, a little history here on the company, M&C Toys, Hong Kong-based company. From what I understand, it's just stuff I picked up on the internet, have been around since the early 90s, and I believe they started out making knockoff Barbie stuff.
Probably
and then
so.
They just kind of slowly progressed into making action figures. So a little history here on Power Team. Power Team is a very loose term. Throughout the years, they've been named on the boxes Power Team Elite, World Peacekeepers. There was a line they called Frontline Defenders. I've seen them where it's something as simple as Power Mission. Sometimes they'll just come out with a generic guy like Astronaut Man or Fireman or Jungle Man.
Hunter Man.
Hunter Man.
My favorite.
We'll talk more about Hunter Man in a later video. And they're still making stuff today, but to me, kind of the golden age of the Power Team figure was about 20 years ago. You could find a Power Team figure in almost every store. Some of the list of stores, the biggest carrier is Big Lots.
That's where I found them.
Yeah. Dollar General. Of course, you can find anything at Kmart. There's even a few Power Team figures that showed up at Walmart. The first Power Team figure I ever got was actually at Food Lion. I got a Astronaut Man in Food Lion. I found some at a local food chain in Alabama called Food World. You could find some stuff at Eckerd's drugstore. You could find stuff in the JCPenney catalog, Sears catalog. You could find a couple of them floating around Family Dollar. And kind of the crazy ones here is you could find these figures at various aquariums, zoos, museums, and airports. Very interesting line of figures. Really no rhyme or reason as to what they came out with. I think their goal was they just saw an opportunity for money and they either put something out they thought would sell or individual organizations would reach out back to them to make something specific. But this is kind of their Generation 1 body. This is actually their knockoff version of Ken. Not very posable. They still have this tooling. They bring it back every once in a while. This is actually the Action Man body that, what was the company?
It's Art Plus Science had the license for it, and I forget the name of the company that is out of the UK that actually is producing it, but they have the relationship there. But yeah, this was the 2021 version. Which everybody remembers, and we didn't carry it at Cotswold because of the body style. But then what they did is the 2022 version, I guess they got their senses straight and they went with the later style body. But yeah, it was Art Plus Science had the license from Hasbro for the Action Man body. But they were, I'll probably in the next video or whatever, I'll remember.
Yeah, but that's their Generation 1 body. It's not really that great. And then they slowly evolved with, this is their Generation 2 body. Fairly posable. It was a decent body. Now, Greg, do you recognize his head?
Yeah, that's the reason he popped up on my radar. Gentleman by the name of Rudy Panucci. there had been discussions on groups that there was a knockoff G.I. Joe figure out there. And I was trying to find it. This is when I didn't work for Cotswold. I was still living in Grand Prairie. And this particular one there was Hunter Man, Astro Man, and I forget who the other guy was. The names were exceptionally simple. But Rudy Panucci had found I guess you would call it a rack jobber. They were a distributor. They were selling to gas stations. And so I went and contacted the guy, and I was like, hey, I'll buy this. And this guy was amazed that it was like, you really want to buy these things?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And it was all because of that head. And Hunter Man is my favorite because he looks like he would belong to G.I. Joe. Astro Man looked like something from The Day the Earth Stood Still, or a 1950s style of movie. And I'll remember what the other guy was. But yeah, because of that head sculpt and the head sculpt only, the G.I. Joe collecting community went nuts.
So at the time, it was they just seemed like cheesy G.I. Joe knockoffs.
Very much so.
But now, since nothing is really on the market, it's like they're really, really cool.
Yeah, it's funny because when they first entered the marketplace, they were just seen as a knockoff company, and now they stand on their own for making pretty much a lot of original pieces. And the fact that there's such a void within the Hasbro collecting community, or with Hasbro in general, they have filled that void. I mean,
it's like they're not even a knockoff company anymore.
Right. They started off as that, and they became legit. I guess
they're the thing now.
They're the thing because you can't find. I mean, we sell our stuff obviously, but they're one of the ones that actually sell. Other than, I would say, Leonard, who they have the core figures, but they also have the ultra core, which I think they're kind of putting their foot out there again.
Yeah, they are.
To do their 12
They have that big 4-pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're about the only other company that I've been seeing that really offers a commercially, stock available. I mean, you've seen all of these at Big Lots. I mean, they had an entire row of them.
I loved going to Big Lots.
No, Big Lots.
It was and these weren't expensive figures. I mean, it was like a decked out figure with clothes, gun, lots of accessories for $8.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could go to Dollar General and get a simpler figure, $5.
Mm-hmm.
Or there was 2-packs that you could get were like $15. I mean, they were not expensive toys. This is the Generation 3 body, very, very similar to the 90s Action Man body. Those clothes were interchangeable. I remember doing that a lot as a kid. If you notice, this one has face painted camo. There is really no rhyme or reason or record of how many faces and hair colors and which faces they've made. This head has been made in many different hair colors, eye colors, face paints. Sometimes they will they'll just print like a goatee on there or put some 5 o'clock shadow. So it's very possible that somebody watching this show has a Power Team box and they have something that I have never seen before, which really makes it a lot more fun to collect. So,
well, especially the thing that I've noticed, because I've been dealing with a lot of the later ones, like they had the Sniper series, and the first iteration of the Sniper that we had was an SR-25 style rifle, and then they went over to a bolt action. But they kind of tweaked the heads just a little bit. In fact, we had it where we were offering some of the SWAT guys, and the customer wanted this particular SWAT figure because of this particular head sculpt that they're looking for. So the images were all of that one, but when we got them, they had changed the head sculpt.
Yeah, it's. I mean, then there's pictures on the boxes where they'll show one head, and it may have never even been commercially produced.
Right.
But then again, it could have been, and because I mean, these were also available in pretty much every area of the world. I've got figures from South America. I've got figures from East Asia. I've got figures from England. I got figures from Europe. I got some figures from the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think M&C Toys they distributed stuff out to anywhere in the world that was willing to buy them.
And it's very true because I can't speak for M&C Toy Centers, but again, I go back to Leonard. I've been to Leonard's place in Kansas City area, and they use the same model that Leonard uses. In fact, I saw packaging that, like you're talking about, you had packaging that was in Spanish. You had packaging. They had packaging that was in Russian.
Yeah. I've seen Russian packaging as well.
So that's what they're doing, and so they will make the product that particular region responds to. And so whereas you're like, well, gosh, I want to get this particular one, where you're going to have to really look, because that was only available in like Australia.
And it's not something you can just type in eBay and find multiple listings of.
No. We've had people come to us and they're like, when are you going to carry this? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And it was something that was carried 5 years ago. And they're very fluid. They're very fluid in what they manufacture. And, one minute it's there, 1 minute it's not. The online place that they sell on, I hate to promote somebody else, but the place that is on Amazon, Click and Play?
Click and Play.
So Click and Play has a relationship with them that they get some of the things that we can't get.
See, I thought M&C Toys was Click and Play. I don't know. I don't know.
People comment if you want to, but I don't know, because the Click and Play, like we could get this snowmobile, but they had the complete set. They had that howitzer looking gun with the shield, the desert one, but we didn't have access to that one. But they were carrying some of the things that you don't even see on the website.
Yeah.
And so, and hence the reason why we're having this video is to talk about some of the things you don't see anymore and stuff like that. But I mean, man, we're just touching the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, tip of the iceberg. This is kind of their transition figure. It had the muscle body top, but it had, I guess they wanted to experiment with double jointed joints.
So they did.
So they did double jointed knees here. This is probably one of the rarer bodies, because they didn't make a whole lot of figures with this body type. I think they made this maybe for a year, and then they eventually transitioned to their double jointed body. But another fun thing about Power Team is they make a lot of heads based on celebrities. Now, there's no confirmed record of any of this. To me, this is their Jimmy Stewart head.
Really?
Yeah, look at that. Unless you think it's somebody else.
I don't know. It kind of looks a little bit like Kennedy to me. But
it could be. It could be.
He's got the pompadour, though.
It could be. And there's a lot of versions of this figure. There's a blonde version. There's figures without stubble. But they make a lot of heads based on celebrities. Not all their heads are based on celebrities, but a lot of them are. And it's fun to just pick through them and just kind of guess whatever the designer was trying to make at the time.
Yeah, this one looks like what they were doing is they were using some leftover parts from here and kind of testing new concepts that went on to other things. But I know that after a while, the big arms were losing popularity.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe had Hall of Fame, which were just atrocious. The Action Man really ran with it, which was good, but they still kind of had the girly man legs. Yeah. This one's a little bit built up, but I can see where they're following trends.
Yeah, they're following trends.
They're following trends.
And then that brings us to our most recent body, the super articulated body. And this is double jointed, very good body. They made a lot of different skin colors. They made regular flesh. They made African American. They also made this nice tan skin color. They made a bunch of different hands that could fit and pop off easily. They made flesh hands. They made gloved hands. They made boxing glove hands. They made like wrapped up karate hands. They made a lot of different gloved hands for their athlete figures. A lot of interesting customization opportunities for these. And of course, they made a lot of different ethnic figures too. So this one looks kind of Middle Eastern.
Yeah, he definitely kind of has a an ethnic.
Yeah, but it's just really cool figures, and it's just something I like to collect and research. It's just not really something that I can go and find a Power Team expert on. So I'm just trying to kind of figure all this stuff out by myself.
Well, these bodies have been doing really, really good for us. And like you said, I mean, Cotswold is known that our bodies are pretty modular, and so we can switch out the hands and switch out the heads. And so this to me is like the next generation. There's a lot of bodies that are out there like this, but they're like, $20 to $30 something dollars. We're selling them for, $10 a pop. But like you just said, you can pop those hands out and switch them out to different gloved hands, and there's a whole slew of them out there. And the other thing that not a lot of people realize is that the heads are interchangeable. It's on a cup and ball type of thing. You just kind of have to jimmy it there and pop it off. Yeah. So it has a lot of modularity. And like we were talking about earlier, I call them the Action Man 2022 models were on these bodies. So basically, if you're buying one of these 2022 year issue Action Man figure sets, what you're buying is they're contracted out to M&C Toy Center. So this is the body that you're using, but it has an Action Man head with a scar on it. So if you come across out there, sometimes you'll see on eBay, and Chuck and I were talking about this, sometimes you come out there on eBay and people are selling those heads. If it has that neck post, you can pop the neck post onto these bodies, and you can make yourself some more Action Man bodies and stuff like that.
So like, there's many times I go to like a yard sale or garage sale, find a beat up Power Team figure for $1, pop the head off, buy a body from Greg, and I'd have a new figure for less than $10.
Yeah,
So
and the thing is that people always kind of misinterpret that. The price equals quality. It's not the case with them. This company has been around for many years. They've evolved with time, and they've evolved with quality. And when the stuff was first out like this, it was very rudimentary, but these guys blow them out of the park. Customers are always just buying these bodies because they're just a good solid body. It's like you notice here that the torso is actually two-piece. You got your lower abdomen and you got your chest. And then you got the articulation at the leg here, at the knee, and at the heel. And the same thing with the arms. You got your articulation here at the shoulders, and at the bicep, at the elbow, and at the wrist. So for $10, $5, whenever you can find them, it's the best bang for your buck that you can get from these guys. And I just wish, hopefully, maybe we can start carrying these, because we can't find African American bodies to save our life.
Yeah, they're really cool. I know you can even contact them sometimes. Sometimes they email you back, sometimes they don't, but you can contact them, and sometimes they'll even sell you like really, really bizarre parts if they have something in stock. But very cool company, very cool figures.
Super cool company. Like I said, you just have to kind of know what you're looking for. You had M&C Toy Center and the CENTRE. There's also, like we said, World Peacekeepers, which is the name that they've had forever. The Power Team Elite was the name that they used for a long time. In fact, when these were coming out, they were called Power Team.
Yeah.
And like I said, and the great thing about these guys, if you can find them, generally the prices are going up on these.
Yeah. They are. They're
getting harder.
Like more than I want to pay for.
Yeah. I was the same way, because I was like, hey, I want to get Hunter Man. I'm like, oh God, this America. That's
that's.
It's like, I think I'll just make my own Hunter Man.
Yeah.
So, but it's pretty cool. All right, so we've covered the male buddies. What do you think we're going to cover on the next video?
Well, there's a lot of stuff we got military.
Okay.
We covered a lot of police. Definitely, we'll talk about the hard to find Power Team female figures.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll talk about just some of the other crazy miscellaneous lines that they delved into.
Awesome. All right, folks. Well, that concludes the first video in the series. We're going to be talking about Power Team, World Peacekeepers from M&C Toy Center. Sorry. Check back with us next week on the continuing of this series. So, see you then.